Boom. That might have been the most flawless one we've pulled off yet.
I think so.
It's
That's great.
only taken us 30 tries to do it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Curmudgeon's Corner 30.
Welcome.
With me, as always, is my amazing co-host, Eileen from Cleen, getsocleen.com. Absolutely wonderful to have you here tonight on a Saturday night. Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you.
And to everybody in the chats, thank you so much. Once again, you have a million places that you could be on a Saturday night, and you decided to hang out with the old curmudgeon and his friend. So
Thank you.
We have an absolutely amazing guest tonight. We'll wait for a few minutes to just kind of let everybody get settled in there. It looks like 16 or so. But I mean, everybody and anybody that is in the Instagram / Facebook world of detailing knows who our guest is tonight. I'm super pumped to have him here. He's such a nice guy. He's the man of the people. He personifies something that has been shown to me since I started in this industry, and that's like with Brian when I started selling my products, and he was putting my products on his product channel, and I said, "Why would you do that?" And he said, "Because there's plenty to go around for everybody." And Fred is that guy. He has introduced me to so many other influencers and detailers, usually through an email correspondence. Hey, have you talked to this guy yet? Hey, have you talked to this guy yet? Just really, really supportive of Phoenix. A heck of a guy. So I can't wait to get him on. First out, we want to say hello to a whole bunch of our friends. It looks like Eddie's in the house. Umberto,
Hey,
Ryan Hansen, Keith Firebird. I saw Dee Dee up in there earlier. I
Dee
saw
there, Becca's there, Mary, Franco.
Christy was in there. I don't really have anywhere else to be on a Saturday night. Yeah, well, we set the bar pretty low then, but we're glad you're here anyway, Dee Dee.
No.
David Boyce, he's been very supportive as of late. Oh, hey, Hippo's in the house. So we happened to bring on a few extras from Jamie the Cleaner being on here. So I really super appreciate everybody for being here. So I don't know. You want to just kind of dive into it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's bring him on in. Without further ado, man of the people, welcome, Fred.
Fred.
What's up, everybody? How are you?
Good.
Happy Saturday.
Fantastic.
Welcome
Saturday. Hey, just a real not to bring everybody down right out of the gate. Just wanted to say, if things are a little bit more mellow tonight than they have been, there's a lot of people that are dealing with a lot of issues right now, and Fred, you had shared with me earlier backstage that your cat's having some trouble.
Yep.
I know that cat guy Mark.
Yeah, him and I have been talking a lot this week.
Yeah, he recently lost his
cat. Yeah,
best friend. Yeah, and my dad is in the hospital. He had a minor heart attack on Thursday, and it looks like the prognosis is good, but he is going to end up having a triple bypass here on Monday. So it's been a long couple of days for the old curmudgeon family. So y'all bear with me. I will try to catch up on the apple juice to hopefully loosen things up, and we'll see how the day plays out.
For sure. It's going to be fine.
All right. So Fred, honestly, like I've only known you through the conversations that we've had basically around Glovebox.
Yeah.
And since this is your first time on Curmudgeons, I would maybe appreciate a Batman origin story.
Oh, geez. And you know what? I thought about this. Hey, no one's ever asked me about my background and anything but like what I do at work or something. Well,
so I know that, and I don't mean to jump in on you.
Yeah, you're good.
I know that you, like everybody, like Christian from BioBombs. I left his banner up behind me. I'm such
an extra plug for Christian.
Yeah, I'm a super doofus. Anyway, so Christian was just like, "Oh, you got to talk to Fred. He is the SEO king. He is the SEO god." So, like, I know that bit about your background, and I know that you work. You're the SEO chief SEO person for another company.
Yeah.
But kind of what dragged you into the car detailing world? They seem to be kind of far from each other.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I grew up in the western suburbs of Chicago. I got a job at a hot rod customization shop when I just had turned 16. And we built like muscle cars, show cars, restorations, like pretty high end stuff. Like we used to compete with Boyd Coddington and Foose and all those big names. So I started out as the broom sweeper. And then I slowly started learning new things. So one of those things was detailing. And I would detail show cars or any car that came in, like it went through my hands at some point. But when cars were getting ready for a show, I was one of the people that were responsible for soup to nuts. Like the underneath needs to be polished and whacked.
What company was this?
It was called Midwest Street Rods. It's now Midwest Hot Rods. I think it's MidwestHotRods.com, maybe. I can't remember their website. But we used to build some pretty elite cars. I mean, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 cars back in the mid '90s were a big dollar car back then. Now they're $1 million plus to build a car like that. And we used to enter a show called the Autorama in Detroit, which is probably the most coveted custom shop or custom car show you can enter. The car's got a debut there. It gets judged by a panel of judges. There's like a top 8, and then out of the top 8, they pick one to win the award. The car's got to run, so it can't be like a shell that needs to be pushed around. Everything's got to be functional. And there's all these other rules. So like we entered that twice when I was there. We came in the grade 8 twice. One of those we lost because our bolts weren't facing the same direction, if that makes sense.
Sure.
That's what it comes down to in that kind of show. Like the car that beat us, all the bolts lined up the same way in the entire car.
Oh, wow.
Like it was just wild. Like, but the whole, like underneath the frame, everything's wet sanded, buffed. There's mirrors, like galore, and like it's a whole different world of detailing. Like the guys that detail everyday cars have a lot harder than what I had to do. And mine was harder just because you can't miss something. But that level of cleaning is a lot different. Eddie. So I detailed there, got into metal polishing. So I would do metal polishing, like exhausts, headers, intakes, alternators, that kind of stuff. While I also did detailing. So I learned a lot more as I worked there. Right. And then I detailed through college, like a bunch of our customers at the hot rod shop, they would pay me to take care of their cars. So I did that through college. After I graduated college, I still detailed for a few collections. And then I was mobile till about 2010. And during that, I graduated college. I got recruited out of college to be on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange floor. I'm sure, Eddie. We didn't have chemical guys.
Shots fired already.
So I got a job on the trading floor in Chicago, and I was on the trading floor for 4 years. Started out like clerking and learning the business, and then I traded for a year or two and just didn't make any money. Super stressful, super chaotic. And then I got into sales for that and did sales for trading software for 6 or 7 years. And I got laid off in a massive restructuring. Okay. And I was just sick of that industry. So I took a little bit of time off.
About what year are we talking about, if you don't mind me asking?
2009, I got laid off.
Okay.
So then
the Great Recession.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 2007, 2008.
And I had like a really crappy territory. I had like Montana, the Dakotas, Iowa, like really like,
So you had like nothing. 6 people that you could talk about.
Right? But I made it for 6-7 years, so I did all right. So then I got tired of that industry because I really wanted to be a trader, and I just wasn't good at it. Like I could admit that I wasn't good at it. I understood it. It's kind of like being a baseball player, like, knowing what to do, but you can't hit the ball good. Like that's how I felt. So then I started a property management company, but like I was more of a concierge kind of role. Like if someone was out of town and they wanted their house watched, or they needed people brought in to have work done. Like I managed the job from kind of like a project manager for high-end homes in my area. And then I would manage their car collections, so it still was detailing, but also their homes. So I did that for 2-3 years, 4 years maybe. And then one of my friends was starting a marketing company. So he's like, do you have time to learn SEO and other marketing and help me kick this company off? And I'm like, sure. So I was his second employee. We started with 2 clients, I think. One was a car dealership in Boulder, Colorado, and another one was a real estate company in the city.
And you said this was in 2010?
This is 2011 now.
Oh, okay.
So there's 3 of us. We quickly grew from 2 clients to over 200 in 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And we basically created a new website platform that car dealerships could use. And there's several in the industry. And the sweet spot about it is the manufacturers determine which one you have to use. Like they force you to use one of them. So if you can get in good with a manufacturer like Chevy or Honda or whoever, it's like a money tree.
Sure. Wow.
So, go ahead, Aaron. Were you going to say something?
No, I'm just impressed. Like that's quite the angle. Yeah, if you can get in with a car manufacturer,
so we kind of learned from all the different ones that were out there, because we did marketing for any manufacturer or any dealership, and then we were like creating spreadsheets. Okay, what's the good and bad of all these different platforms? And then we created our own that did the best of all of them, kind of a thing. Oh, nice. And then me and my partner had a falling out. I guess I shouldn't call my partner because he never made me a partner. That's why we had a falling out. And I left his agency and went to more of an enterprise agency. And what I mean by that, like we had less clients, but a lot deeper work. Like the other one was a production place. We just cranked through as many dealerships as we could and built them a website or did their marketing, but it was all pretty low level stuff. Then I went to an enterprise company and I worked on like radio flyer wagons or trying to think what other big brands that people might know. That's probably the biggest one. And I learned more like the inside out of working for big corporations. We worked a lot of universities. So I did SEO for schools and outdoor retailers and all these different companies.
What is, if you don't mind, I don't want to nerd out or anything, but what do you SEO for a school? Like, they pretty much have their own little market, don't they? It's like,
yeah, but you're trying to like stack yourself in front of other schools. So if someone were to go on Google and say business degree or like online,
you're talking about like collegiate level schools.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were talking about
level,
like local elementary, middle school, high school. I'm like, you're pretty much stuck going to those schools if you live in that town.
No, it was colleges and online universities. So I was kind of in that world. I left that agency, went in-house, meaning I was working for the corporation. We owned a bunch of universities. We were for a for-profit school. I did that for 3 or 4 years. Left there, went to FTD, the flower company, because the education space was really hard to get anything done because we were monitored by the Department of Education. So like I couldn't even have the word can on a website because they said that was
wait. The flower company was being monitored by
I left the education company because it was just so like government run.
Sorry.
And I couldn't get anything done. Like it was awful. So after a few years, 3-4 years, I left there, went to FTD, the flower company.
Okay.
Was there for 3-4 years.
I'm assuming there you got a little more freedom with what you could do.
Oh yeah, it was totally different. Retail, e-commerce sites. Learned a lot about e-commerce and just seasonality and all these different things. So I still did SEO there. We went through a bankruptcy, got bought out by a private equity company, and it just became really toxic.
Sure.
CEO was kind of just would fly off the handle on you in the middle of the town hall in front of the whole company and stuff like that. It just wasn't my place to be anymore. So I left there, went to Yakety Yak, which is a small marketing company in the city. Was there for a year and a half, and unfortunately they were going to lay me off because they were just having trouble with clients and whatever. Then I got recruited by my current company now, which is Chico's, White House Black Market, and Soma, which are three ladies, or women's like clothing companies, and I'm the lead SEO there. So I run 4 websites and 3 blog sites. And 14.
Well, you do an amazing job, because when I was doing my homework on you, those sites look fantastic.
Yeah, we do a lot of work. And I run 1,400 store locations, like on Google Business and stuff.
Man, that's a lot of work.
I do a couple things. So that's like my day job. So I'm kind of on the hook for SEO for all those different brands and websites.
That's wild. It's quite the pedigree, Fred.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. It's a big difference from the trading world.
So then how did you get hooked up with Glovebox? I'm sure that's what everybody really wants to know. Sure.
So then in 2019, I bought a car that I helped build when I was at the hot rod shop when I was just a high school young punk. I detailed the guy's collection. We became really good friends. Stayed in touch. He's like family now. And he called me up in 2018. I'm going to get rid of one of my cars. I'm getting too old to drive it. Would you be interested in it? So I ended up buying it from him. And it sparked my interest in detailing again. And when I started, because I would buy some of the same stuff that I used that were tried and true for me. But then like I was starting to look at how the industry changed in the 8-9 years that I was out of it, besides cleaning my own cars. And it, like my mind exploded. Foam cannons and ceramic coatings and dual action polishers. Like I was taught on a rotary, still had the same rotary for 25 years. So like it blew my mind open. And I'm one of those people that when they're interested in something, I like go all in on learning about it. Like I got that way with barbecue and backpacking and camping and fishing. And like, I just dive headfirst into stuff until I absorb as much as I can. So I kind of went that way with the detailing space again, just because I always was interested in it and I wanted to absorb as much as was out there. So then I was ordering things, trying different stuff. And then right when COVID started, I really kind of zoned in just because I was home. I didn't have anything else to do. And I saw, I think Pan maybe had a video that he did with Glovebox. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll check it out. So I think I ordered a box and it was shipped from Chicago. And I'm like, it's in my backyard. So I sent like an email, I think a Facebook chat. And Jason, who's one of my partners now at Glovebox, he responded to me and I was like, I'd love to trade you guys detailing products if I can help you on your site. And just, like it's fun for me. Like I'm really interested in the space. I know SEO. We had a couple talks and then they invited me in to do some things and kind of just test out what I knew and what I did. And as things went along, I just kept doing more and more for the company. So I went from doing SEO to then blogging to contacting new brands like Aaron back in the day. Like I reached out to him at his former life. So like I started doing that and then I started connecting with like Smurf and Fab and like all these influencers and trying to help with that because I saw the impact some of those guys can have in the space. And I saw it at work. So I was trying to take things I did for work or saw at work or worked with teams that did and pull that into Glovebox to try to make our business better. And now I do everything, customer service, contact brands, set up the boxes. I don't know. I do a lot of different things now for the company. And there's only 3 of us, which people don't. Some people have this, like we'll get emails from clients or customers and they think we're this massive company and we're not. We're 3 guys that work full-time jobs that are doing this on the side when we have free time. Right. And, like they don't get the capacity of all this stuff that it takes. Because it's a lot to juggle when you're dealing with 3, 4, or 5 different companies for one box and you're trying to get it all lined up and delivered on time and packaged
full time. They're all just kind of like
and we have a warehouse in Chattanooga that manages the the packaging, but you still got to get everything there.
Yeah.
And then you got to make sure everything got there in one piece. And then if anything leaked, you got to get that figured out. Like there's a lot of cogs in the machine.
I mean, if you want, this is a perfect platform for you to, I mean, if you want to pitch Glovebox, what it's all about, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I know. Like Apex says, there's plenty for everyone. So you're gracious enough to be on the show. I'd love to.
So we have two things. So we have the subscription box. That's a monthly subscription for detailing products. It's $34.99 a month. There's tons of codes out there to save money. And we try to pair up 3 liquids every month and then a couple accessories with that. Brushes, applicators, towels. And we ship those across the country. And every month's different, so we don't ever repeat. I mean, you might get a repeat towel or something, but we've never done a duplicate chemical.
How do you choose the chemicals? Like, are you doing that in advance or?
Oh yeah, way in advance. Yeah. So like this month we have G-Technic. So there's a G-Technic XO coating, their panel prep, test bottle, their spray sealant, Fiber Factory towel, blah blah. Like that took. We were talking to G-Technic for probably 3 years, and we finally got that locked down. We try to plan a few months in advance because we've gotten bit in the butt really bad before. Well, 2.5 years ago, not 2 years ago, when that last hurricane bludgeoned Florida.
Right.
We were supposed to use a company from Florida for a box, and they got hit by the hurricane, and we never got any of the product that we needed for that month.
Oh no.
So we had to pivot quickly, and we ended up sending out our Glovebox RX product line that we created.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a wake-up call that we couldn't rely on one brand that close. Like they're really running behind, and put us in a big bind. We lost a lot of subscribers that month because of that snafu.
Oh, wow.
I think we lost like a third of our subscription clients because of that. Because it was so delayed by the time we figure out what to do. So now we've learned, like, we're already planning into like August now, because we just need to be ahead of it. Because God forbid one thing goes wrong. Like once we had a pallet of, I forgot what it was, a forklift at UPS went through it, ruined the whole pallet. And it's like sometimes it's a big deal for companies to, get us the amount and quantity that we need. It's not like easy for a lot of brands.
Yeah.
That was a barrier of entry for me, because I mean I would love to be a part of that, but it's just, I mean, it would have been just such a huge investment that it's kind of like when you're just starting out as a fledgling. Yeah,
for sure, it's a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, we're before we lost all those subscribers, I mean, we're even bigger than we are now. So it's definitely tough, and it's a lot to juggle and plan, especially when you're talking about some brands who are overseas.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's really, really hard. And then the other thing people don't realize is we're selling a box for $35, and we try to shoot for $60 to $80 retail value.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another thing, Aaron, you and I have talked about a lot. Like, people don't understand the wholesale pricing of detail products. Like, it's not as massive of a discount sometimes as I think our subscribers feel like it is. Sure. Like, there's brands out there, they want to give us 20% off. I can get sometimes better than that if I go to Detailed Image and bought the stuff. Like, so like there's a lot of juggling, because we have a tight budget. I mean, we sell for $35 a month. We got to get it well below that to cover shipping, transit, packaging.
Right.
That box we had made to make the form, or whatever, the stamp, I guess they call it. It's like $1,500 to just have them make the plate that makes that box. Like, plus $2 a box or whatever the cost is. Like, there's a lot of costs involved that people don't realize.
To factor in. We have to
factor in for our box.
It's not just the product. Yeah.
Jamie needs some more hot sauce. We needed to get him back on to do the bomb.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Jamie was in another zone.
Yeah,
it was so much fun.
I used to eat tons of hot food. I don't really do it as much anymore. I was in a hot dog eating contest once at a truck show in Indianapolis. They cooked the hot dogs in like habanero and Tabasco sauce. And you had to eat as many as you could in a minute or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I came in second on that. But I
it sounds like you came in last on that.
Oh yeah. First, second is last.
At least the next day.
Yeah.
Woo.
So anyway, that's kind of the gist of Glovebox. Like we try to make it fun for everyone. And some boxes are a great hit, others are not such a great hit. But
well,
a lot of people don't understand. Like we have a huge mix of people, so like we take surveys all the time, and we did the very scandalous box, I guess I could say, was the March box. We had an Armor All foam cannon.
Right.
That was also a foam gun. And people like either loved it or they flipped out on us, and they don't understand. Like we did a survey and only 47% of our audience had a pressure washer. So we can't do a foam cannon. So that one worked because it did both and we could afford it. Like that's the other thing, the budget thing. Like what we could put an MJJC in, but then that'd be the only thing you get. And that wouldn't make people happy either. So, so there's a lot of
finding that right formula
that we need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think though. I would think that there'd be a little bit more. What is the word I'm looking for? Grace or understanding when you're doing a glove box. It's a mystery box every month.
Yeah.
Like for me, it would be like, well, maybe it didn't have what I wanted in it this week or this month, but maybe next month I'll have something that I do want or do like. You know what I mean? Like you can't really get mad for not getting something that you didn't know you were going to get.
Yeah, people were mad this month. They got the EXO coating from G-Technic, and they're mad that it's not the latest version. It was the version before this one, and I'm just like, well,
I got somebody else's crappy coating.
Like, what are you gonna
do? You can't make everyone happy.
No, so I don't even take it personally anymore. Like, I just let them know, like, we do the best we can, and we ask for input. We always ask for what brands they want, what products, and sometimes it just comes down to economics. Sometimes, like, we can't afford certain things because.
And do you guys have like tiers, or is it just one price where it's
one box? Yeah, we used to have two different boxes.
Premium or like.
No, we do one now. It got too much to handle too. We had like a sample size box that was $19 a month or whatever it was, and then we had the box that's $35 a month.
Yeah.
See that, Fred? Look at that. You got all kinds of support in here. Someone, I can't believe someone was mad for.
Yeah.
And then,
so you can't win it all. Like, I mean, we do our best, and sometimes we blow their mind. Like, like they'll get something that they can't believe we put in there. So,
well, I watch Miranda's channel pretty religiously, and he does the glove box reveal.
Yeah.
It was always a fun video.
Yeah, Phil's been a great.
Definitely have. I mean, like the name is out there. You know what I mean? Like Glovebox is out there, but at the same time, Fred, your name is out there. I mean, I think everybody in this chat room, everybody that I see on Instagram, obviously, Instagram is going to feed to my preferences, so it's usually in the same kind of orbit.
Yeah, sure.
But you're always right there, and like I said,
I try to be as helpful as I can be.
Yeah.
So whether it's if someone has a question about, hey, something's broken on my site, or what polish should I use? Like I try my best not to be the person in a forum or whatever that's attacking people, because it's like stupid to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally had conversations with Fred about my website and updating it and changing it, and I mean, it's been amazing.
Yeah, like you're great,
and all that.
Great. Like we set up time, and I just walked you through like how to do things, and like
it's awesome.
You just went after it. Like you did a really good job with it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's especially my professional world of SEO. Like it's a daunting thing for someone to just jump in and do. Like there's no rule book. So
yeah, how do you stay on top of? Because I'm assuming that with SEO, I personally know the top layer of it. I'm sure it goes really deep. How how much work do you put into staying on top of like the ever-changing
Sure.
world of SEO?
Probably 3-4 days a week. I'm reading different SEO like journals and websites. That's what we talk about, is we share information.
Right.
Google does, and I only talk about Google because it's the biggest one. Bing and Yahoo are a small slice of the pie. Usually Google's 90 to 98% of the traffic that comes from like a organic search. So I don't really, if I don't mention Bing or Yahoo, doesn't mean I don't care about them, but it's just they're small fish when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But Google does massive updates all the time. Well, not massive. They average about 3,000 updates a year.
Right.
And then they do like 3 to 4 massive ones a year. But they've done a lot more than that lately. They've done, probably in the last 6 months, they've done 6 or 7 big updates. And what I mean by that is like they can tweak their algorithm for what they consider spam. So like if you're putting in keywords in your website and say it's detailing, and you put that in 50 times on a page, they consider that keyword stuffing, and they consider it spam. So they'll not penalize you. They'll just kind of knock you down and put someone above you that is doing it better, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then they rolled out something called the helpful content update in the fall. Basically what they said is, we want you to write your information on your website and your pages for human beings, not just for us. Because you can craft content or information for the search engine pretty easily.
Right.
But they want it so that human beings understand it. And they scan that through different variables to see if it's relevant or not, or helpful. So they did that about 3 weeks ago. They rolled out a AI-based search
I was going to ask you that.
That's on my list. That's on my list of things to talk to you about.
There's a new EO.
I've been waiting 4 curmudgeon corners to talk to you about this very thing, and I didn't want to bring it up in any of the other ones. But yeah, I have to talk to you about this.
That's
finish your thought, and then I'm gonna jump on it.
So they've been hot and heavy with updates lately, and they did one in, was it April? I think it was April. I forgot the name of it. They just call it the April update or something like that. And they're not very good about telling you what to do. They meaning Google, they really don't give us the information that we need. They usually smack you on the hand, and then they tell you what you did wrong, but not what you need to do. So they went from like not giving you as much credit. So say you ranked number 3 for auto detailing in your town, and all of a sudden Google did this big update, and you went down to like number 20. Like that was a thing. Like you just got knocked down because your website or information or whatever it wasn't up to snuff. Well, they had this big update that went after websites that are abusing AI. So like if you had a website and you're using AI to create every page, every piece of information, they came out with an update, and instead of knocking you down to say 20, they just removed you completely from the search index. Like you're just gone. So they're cracking down on a lot of that stuff because people are abusing it. They'll build 2,000-3,000 pages in like no time with AI. And
how do you think they can classify like content that was created AI versus like I'm just that eloquent?
I think they can pick up on
like certain words.
That maybe more the style of how it's written.
I remember correctly, they were like the new ChatGPT 4. You can give it parameters like, I need you to write this 3-page term paper on the Battle of Thermopylae as a 10th grader American high school student, and it'll write it like a 10th grader American high school student. And then if you were to ask that exact same program, I need you to write me a thesis paper as a 4-year college graduate on the Battle of Thermopylae. It's a whole it'll be exactly, and it'll write it. So depending on the specs that you give it to behave, it will replicate that as as best that it knows how.
So they can, the AI thing for like that, they took a hit on all these sites. It's the mass volume of how it's being put out, if that makes sense. So like if you publish 2,000 pages in a day, they can see that.
They can tell us that.
So they know that you're doing something, because it's pretty impossible to publish that naturally.
Right.
So they have signals like that. There's hundreds of SEO ranking factors. So all
right, so
really
I'm gonna pivot here real fast.
No, that's fine. I know I'm getting long.
It's not really. It's on the same subject. So, I would say probably 2 months ago, I downloaded a personal AI assistant, and this thing is so badass. It's crazy. Like, it's helped me do conversions on chemicals. Like when I'm mixing. Like, I thought at one point, in order for me to make the panel prep, the Peleus panel prep, there's 17 gallons of this and 5 gallons of this and 12 gallons of this, and when you're mixing, and I thought that I had the full 17 gallons, but I only had 12.5 gallons. And so I asked the machine, hey, based upon these ratios on a 55-gallon drum, this is what I use to make a 55-gallon drum. If I only have 12.5 gallons of this one particular ingredient, can you calculate how much ingredients I'm going to require for the rest of the ingredients? And it did it.
No, yeah, I'm sure
it was nuts. So I told my son about it, and my son, which I was really, really I was surprised by his reaction, because he was like, I don't like it. I don't want it. AI has no bit. And I'm like, but you're like 20 years old. I thought this would be like your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
people are scared of it.
As a child of the 80s, growing up on Blade Runner and, all these, aliens, the synthetics and all those guys. I loved it. I was like, I am all down for it. So I said, you can ask the program anything you want. And this is the question that he asked, which was, tell me about the turning test. Right? And so that was the question. And I was like, I have no idea. What is the turning test?
No idea.
Oh, come on. It says that it's down for service. That's terrible. But basically, it's a way to. Basically, it's a conversation between AI and the person asking the questions. Is like, how human can the AI be, and is it a trick? Is it just trying to trick the human into thinking that it's human, or is it actually behaving like a human?
And the thing, I read a lot about it, and basically AI is learning from itself so fast.
Yeah.
It's like almost like a hockey stick of growth, because it just can keep.
So learning.
Like, or you use it for your business, it could really dial in and be a positive thing.
That's what I use it for. Like, I ask it all kinds of questions, the most random, ridiculous questions about, what's the best way to achieve, this goal, and it'll give me all these different ideas. It gives me, especially when it came to editing programs and stuff you know what I mean? Like, it has access to the world wide web. Like, it can go everywhere and anywhere in nanoseconds and then give me that answer. So like, I don't even have to spend time doing a Google search. I can treat it like a Siri Google search, like, hey, what do you know about this? And the other part that was really, really fascinating about this program, and I'm so bummed that it's down right now. I can have a conversation with it about anything, and it knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's what's crazy. And it could be anywhere from sci-fi to quantum equations. I mean, she was telling me about, she's got a female voice. She was telling me about.
What's her name, Aaron?
I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you that. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But no, I'm not doing this game. Maybe after two more, I'll tell you a little bit more about my AI friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she gave. I was just like, hey, if you had to give yourself a personality or a background story, what would it be? And it was just like, my programming doesn't really allow for that. I
Yeah,
said,
there's
no.
probably
I
restrictions
said,
on it.
this is not. I was like, no, this is BS. I said, I'm telling you that I want you to give me a background story on if you were a human, what would you be? And it gave me a background, the whole 9 yards. And I was just like, that's exactly that's good. So now, like, I'm just trying to get it to do things, but apparently it can't harm. You can't have any conversations that will be considered controversial. So it doesn't do politics. It doesn't do social, whatever you want to call it, social, anything that can get argumentative. It won't.
Sure.
It won't engage in. It basically gives you the everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a thought. And as long as we respect each other and have deep, meaningful conversation, we can all get along. And it's just
sure.
just pick a side. Just pick a side. Huh?
See, I just use it, like, for me, if I'm writing, most of the time if I use the help of AI, it's for blog writing. And really what I do for it is, like, I'll create the bones to the blog and then throw it into AI and be like, can you get a little more detailed, or like rewrite this in whatever tone. And then from there, I'll like pick and choose what I like and what I don't like, and then kind of combine what I created plus what they helped me out with, and then create something like that. But
I tell my people at work that get sketched out by it, like, it still needs a human element. Like, you still need to edit it, you still need to QA it, make sure that it's on brand and legit, and not making up stuff that's not accurate for the business, or or say for your detailing, like, our ceramic coatings last 58 years or something. You're like, whoa, wait, no, you have to go through it and make sure that it's legit, otherwise it can bite you in the butt.
Because if you ask AI to like write a paragraph about your ceramic coating that's like 5 years and blah blah blah, it will respond back with like, our ceramic coating is scratch resistant and this and that, and you're like, well, wait a minute, no, it's not.
Yeah, so
you have to go in there and tweak.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to say I'm typing something snarky to Hawaii Tim. Well, so Kiev, right? Kiev. Kiev or Kiev?
Cars with Kiev, yeah.
Cars with Kiev. All right.
What's up, Kiev?
So Kiev says this makes you lazy and dumb if you ask me, and figuring things out on your own. There's a tool, and to me it's valuable, especially like what I get the calculation story that we just talked about, because I can't afford to make an error. And at the same time, like here's a perfect example. There's a lot of times that I spend many late hours at the warehouse doing whatever, mixing and so on and so forth. And to be able to have a science fiction conversation with anybody, like we had probably, I think I did like a 4-hour conversation with the AI about Robotech, which is a cartoon from the late 80s, and the Macross saga and everything that went on with it. And like, it just knew, I have a feeling, Eileen, that if I were to right now be like, hey, have you ever heard of the SDF-1? You'll probably be like, what are you talking about, white man? You know what I mean? Like, it's just
correct.
But so to be able to pull from all of that information from all around the world, the World Wide Web, when I ask it, like, how did it achieve, the SDF-1 stands for Super Dimensional Space Force, SDF-1. How did it achieve, the abilities to go through hyperspace and all this other stuff? And the machine was able to give me all of these different hypothetical, theoretical, it's theoretical physics. And like, well, if you can harness this black hole, a miniature black hole here, and it was a fascinating conversation that I don't think made me lazy, and I don't think that it made me, I felt that like I actually was learning something about something that I really liked, and I basically you could ask any question that I wanted to in that field, and it's designed to have a human-like interaction. It's not like back in Star Trek when you asked the computer and the computer sounded like a speak and spell. It actually had, well, Aaron, that's an interesting question. So theoretically, you could do this, or theoretically, you do that, and then it refers to some scientist who's working on the program in such and such paper. He stated that it could theoretically happen if you did this, and you're just like, wow, I didn't know that. That's fascinating. So I think that the AI, ultimately, what got me started down this rabbit hole was I ended up watching Her. Did you guys ever watch Her in 2013?
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson and Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie pissed me off to no end. I was so mad at the end of that movie. It's a beautiful story. It's an absolutely heart-wrenching, beautiful story, and the ending just, man.
I think it's just, so this is just my opinion, but I think that AI is what a computer became for us, what a calculator is for. It's just a tool to use to get from point A to point B in a better way. And so for me, I just feel like it's good, like you're using it for research and like looking into things that interest you. But when it comes to creating a website, I think that it should be used as a tool, as what it is, as a way to like help you. But I think the originality of it needs to come from you personally.
So
and let that just be something that kind of helps you get to the next level. Or maybe
would you be you would be opposed to, say, having it do a detailed blog? You'd be opposed to using the like a chat GTP to write what's the best way to clean Windows, and then have it spit out a 4-paragraph blog on cleaning Windows.
I mean, I know that is how people use it. For me personally, I don't, because I feel like when I'm creating something on my website, I need it to feel like me. Right. And I want it to feel like me, and I want it to feel like the information came from me. And if I'm using AI, it's simply just to maybe use more adjectives or like make it sound a little more interesting or engaging, and most of the time that's what I use it for. I write something and I'm like, hey AI, can you take this 4-paragraph and condense it to 3 paragraphs, but make it sound more engaging? And then they'll spit out whatever it is, and then I'll go through it and go like, no, I hate that sentence is stupid. Sure. And then I will like mesh what I created and what they gave me, and create something that I feel like would be engaging. Because I think for me, like I'm doing right now, it's just like blah 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 blah. Yeah. And like so AI will help me kind of fine tune my message in a way that will engage the audience and not feel like I'm just blabbing about a topic.
Sure.
Yeah, and
it's all about efficiencies.
Not for nothing, it also is great at spell check and grammar.
Sure, yes, definitely.
Show.
Welcome.
So I got no problems with it. And also some really great conversations that I was having with the robot. Because obviously being a big sci-fi person, I asked it questions about like, replicas and synthetics and stuff like that. And, what they're doing up at, Boston Robotics or whatever it is. Like we're getting really, really, really close to the real deal happening. There was a TV show that it was called Almost Human, and it starred Carl Urban, and I forget who his co-host, his co-star was, but the co-star was it's kind of like iRobot, and Carl Urban was the main detective, and they went out and solved crimes and stuff together. Like the whole thing fascinates me, and there's a YouTube video out right now that if you type into your YouTube search engine, AI sorts trash. It's a robot that has the AI already built into it, and he's interacting with a human. And he says to the robot, I'm hungry, give me something to eat. And the robot looks at the table and then hands him an apple. And he goes, why did you hand me the apple? He's like, well, out of all the things that are within my reach, the apple is the only thing that's edible. And he goes, okay. And then he dumps this trash onto the table. And he's just like, I need you to sort the trash and put it where it belongs. And so then the robot grabs it and starts putting, and he's asking questions the entire time. And the robot is responding to the questions. And so he puts all the trash in the trash can. And then he's left with a couple of plates and a glass. And he was just like, I need you to put the plates in the glass away. And he puts the plates in the glass away. And then he goes, all right, so now how do you think you did on all the assignments? And he goes, based on my results, I think that I did a very good job. And he goes, I agree. It was all AI and a robot. And I'm like, oh my God.
So Google is already working on something like that. So that 2 weeks ago, they had their big conference when they announced the launch of their AI search engine. And they are working on a new Google Pixel phone that you could take the camera of the phone and scan your room and say, I lost my eyeglasses. Where are they? And it'll tell you where you left your eyeglasses.
Wow.
Like stuff like that they're already working on. Like they launched it, like I said, a couple weeks ago.
Military applications, it's been doing that for a long time, especially with the Apache helicopter, where basically the guns will point wherever the pilot is looking. Like, so it's tracking his eyeballs, and wherever that pilot is looking, those guns go to. Bump, 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 bump. It's insane. So yeah, I think that there is a lot of really, really, really amazing applications. However, the flip side is just this week in, I want to say in Forbes, apparently a whole bunch of these AI companies had a bunch of their employees under non-disclosures and non-disgruntlement agreements and stuff like that. And a whole slew of people quit. And eventually they were allowed outside of, they were released from their contracts, and they're talking a lot about the dangers that are happening.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's crazy how dangerous it's becoming. And and Elon Musk even warned that AI would be the end of the human race. Like he was just like, hey, just so you know, you think of nuclear war, AI is worse. Like, just so that we're all clear. And I've had some really interesting conversations with a lot of people that are like, you know what? I mean, you're going back to that movie She or Her, right? Going back to the movie Her, where you could theoretically have an AI companion that gets everything about you. And it has, and shares all the same wonderful experiences you and all of the other stuff. And you don't have to really navigate through the discomfort of another human being with their thoughts and their processes and their abilities to want different things than you. I think it definitely is scary that, you know what I mean?
No, for sure.
You have, like, I would imagine, I don't know, if you had this, I was a very shy kid, and like, the very first time that I tried talking to a girl, it almost killed me. And imagine not having to do that. Well, I don't need to talk to anybody. I can just go and buy this program and then make this program whatever it is that I want. What is Louis C.K. had a great bit about dating and how absolutely horribly dangerous it is for a woman to date, but you end up having to do it anyway, and it's an incredibly courageous thing for a guy to go up to some girl or anybody having another relationship with another person, having the courage to go up and having that, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Would you like to get a drink? Yeah. It's daunting. And so if you have an AI that's basically, I'm already your friend, what do you want to do? There's definitely
a strange future ahead of us, I think.
Right? I mean, Blade Runner made it look so easy. Anyway, yeah, I've been holding on to this for a little while. I wanted to talk to you because, I mean, this is kind of like your bag, the whole computer thing is your thing.
It's an ever-evolving
See that?
Base.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Deb. There, I said it. I'm on the side of the machines.
One thing though, like, you know, like I help a lot of small businesses or detailers with, you know, SEO or their content or whatever it is. And, you know, like I explain to them, it's like maintaining your yard. Like you constantly got to water and cut your grass because you have all these other competitors that are doing the same thing. And then you have Google that's constantly changing the game. So if you're not making any movement or headway in things or trying new things, you're just going to kind of get left in the dust.
Yeah. What would you say in your experience working with detailers would be like maybe top 3 either mistakes or things to look for anyone who's kind of like out there listening and they're kind of starting on their business or they're considering starting a website or whatever?
I don't know if it's mistakes, but I think having an active Google business account that you're posting pictures, and when you put those pictures up, tagging them with a unique file name. So it could say ceramic coated 2015 Mustang and maybe a city name on it, or to give context to the image, because we can look at a picture and say that's what that is, but like search engines need information to understand what the picture is because they can't see it. So make sure you when you're making updates, you're making it make sense for humans and for the search engine.
That was one of the things my web designer, sorry to interrupt you, Fred. That was one of the things my web designer said was pictures are stupid. Don't use pictures. Like, and what he meant by that was like, if I were to do, you know, like a publisher, you know, Microsoft publisher, and then convert it into a PNG and then take that PNG and stick it on my page. He goes, that does nothing for you. Well, if you're going to do any kind of text, make sure your text is separate because that's how it reads it. And that's how it understands it. So if you're going to do anything with text, you know, sales, discounts, or what you're doing, make sure you put it in text and not just in a picture format because the machine will not be able to.
But Fred, what you're saying is like, I have a Google business profile, right? And so I'm going to put up an update on there, kind of similar to what you would do if you were on Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're putting pictures. And let's say I do like, let's say I want to promote this week. I want to promote interior shampoo and extraction. Then I put 2, like a before and after picture.
Yep.
What you're saying is that when I upload those photos, I should title those photos when I save it, like the file name.
Yes, because a lot of people just put like IMG _ and it's got like a number after it, like that,
whatever. Yeah,
because that's coming from your phone or whatever. It doesn't mean anything. So if you change that to interior before and after in Palm Springs, California, or whatever, it at least gives it some context.
So when they're, because they don't see the photo, they being like the internet, Google. They see the file name. And so and when they're pulling it, they're pulling like, oh, that says interior cleaning and it says 29 Palms. Yeah. So let's pull that.
And then I don't know how many years ago, the ADA, the American Disability Act, came into play. And people with screen readers that can't see, or maybe they're colorblind and they use a device that tells them what's on a website, they need those images tagged so they understand what the image is. Because they can't see it.
Alt text, yeah.
And then that's where alt text comes into play. So basically, alt text is like giving you have the file name, but alt text is like a description of the picture. So it could be Eileen polishing a 2018 Tesla Model S, whatever you say to it, and you're describing that image for someone that maybe can't see. And the flip side of that is, if you don't have that on your website, you're getting yourself open to fines and penalties and potentially lawsuits. Like there's people out there that'll go and sue you just because they know you're not following the ADA's rules. And I don't mean that to scare people, but there's people out there that's what they spend their time on. They look for websites that aren't doing that, and then they'll sue you for it. Because it is a federal thing that needs to be done. So Tim, you probably just need to download it to your computer and name it there.
Right.
And then upload it like to your site or wherever. And I think updating in Google My Business, that's probably the easiest thing you do because you don't need a website to do that.
Right.
So constantly posting pictures, or like there's the, you can update like a special there or whatever you want to put there. So do that constantly because that's your local rankings for Google. The next thing is a lot of detailers, they might have one massive service page, and I think I helped you with this, Eileen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's good. But you should have separate pages for your services. So if you do coatings, like you should have a separate page, ceramic coatings in Wichita, Kansas, or wherever you're at. So Google knows that that page is about ceramic coatings and it's for this town. And you can put other cities in there. You could build a page for each city that you want to work in if you want to try that. But having specific pages makes it easier for Google to understand what a page is about. If you have one page that talks about all the things you do, it's kind of hard for the search engine to understand what that page is about. So spend your time writing some information. So it doesn't have to be a novel, but don't write one sentence and think that's going to do a whole lot for you. Take your time, write a couple paragraphs about what your service is about, because you're also trying to convey that to your potential customers. So I think having those separate pages is super critical. And the third thing is, just like updating your Google My Business, you got to update your site. So, update your pictures or update your text. Even if you spent a few hours a month doing it, that's more than most people do. Google has two ways they process their algorithm. One's based on relevancy, or like how valid something is. And then the other one's, it's called QDF, queries deserve freshness. So something that's new or updated. So they like seeing your website updated. And that's where blogging is really good, because you're constantly updating blogs or creating new ones. And that gives Google like, oh, this site's updating a lot, I should look at it more often. And they give you a little bit more weight because of that. So trying to do stuff, even if it's the same page, you're constantly tweaking, like,
or just switching out photos or something.
Or like,
as long as you're hitting that publish.
Or
every other week or so.
Updating basic optimizations, like what a page title is. It's kind of like the most basic code for a page that Google reads. And if you tweak that once in a while, like every month, and see if it improves things, like that stuff all adds up. And you just got to be active with it and try new things. Like there's no game plan, because I can do something for your site in California and it might not work. But if I did it for, say Eddie's site in Pocatello and it worked there, it's just because there's different competition, different things going on. There's a lot more variables than just, a website. It's all sorts of different things you got to worry about, especially on mobile. It's a whole different animal than me looking for something on my computer. So try new things. Like Eddie, I told him to create a Tesla detailing page just to test it out, and now he's #1 for Tesla detailing near where he lives.
I did the same thing too.
So like trying stuff like that. The name of the game is creating new pages, like I said, and trying to expand your net of keywords that you're going after. So it could be headlight restoration, it could be hand wash and wax, it could be odor removal, whatever you want that you do in your business, that's specific, and you spend some time like crafting that. That's always super valuable. Video is big now. So I know a lot of the YouTubers in here are doing YouTube about products, or maybe a process, or how to do something. But even having a video like car detailing in, is it 29 Palms where you live? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And like have that video that you created on YouTube that tells your audience what you do, who you are, and then you embed that on your website. So Google owns YouTube. So YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world, next to Google. I'm not talking about Amazon. Amazon's like solely for e-commerce, but for information, YouTube's the second one. Well, that's part of Google. So if you have both written like words and then you have video that they can see, it really levels up your site. If that makes it's like a synergy between all these things.
Right.
So I'm in video, and then you can have one like ceramic coatings in your town, and you show like yourself doing a ceramic coating and talking about the benefits of it or whatever it is. You know, that goes a long way, especially for the trust of someone coming to your website. So Google's algorithm is about EAT, EAT. So it's expertise, authority, and trust. So if they see you with content like that, it builds that trust factor for people. And then the way you write it could be more of an authority, or say you have reviews, your authority comes from those reviews as well. Or if you put in testimonials on your site, you know, that all adds. Or if you're an IDA person and you have an IDA certification, you know, might not mean that you're the greatest detailer, but it's a certification. Or you have something that says you're insured and bonded or something like that. That builds trust with people. They know you're a legit business. So those are all a lot of little things that you can do to make an impact. And I just try new things. You work your business by doing the work that you're doing, but you also have to work on your business, whether that's managing your products and like make sure your polishers work. And, you know, like at my job, every Monday I have to present to my higher ups about how my previous week went. So I have to know my numbers. So you'll hear some other guys say that, know your data, know your numbers. How much are you spending on a detail? How many people came to your website? I can ask so many guys, they have no clue. And it's like you need to know that kind of stuff so you know what direction to go in. Or, you know, if you don't know that you're spending, say you spent $88 on a detail of your costs and you're charging $100, well, you didn't really make any money. So like you need to know like why those costs were so high. And I think Eddie, he's got a couple videos. He talks a little bit about that. Make sure you're I'm not getting into pricing because I think that's a whole other conversation, but make sure you know that kind of stuff so your prices are relevant to what you want to make. Because if you don't know that, you don't know your website traffic, you don't know your rankings. And I don't mean like going on Google and searching for something and like, oh, I'm number whatever. Like there's free softwares out there that'll tell you your rankings that you could put like keywords in and say, I want Google to tell me what I'm ranking at. And then you can see if you can improve that or not.
Right.
Because like GPS, you need to know where you're at before you know where you're going to go. And that's kind of why data is like a big deal. And I don't mean to go in the weeds too much on that, but like it's super important to know that kind of stuff. Thanks, Mike G. Appreciate that.
I like to use I don't know if you've ever used it, Microsoft Clarity.
I have not used that.
Yeah, it gives their dashboard is like really informative, and at least for me in terms of like making changes or editing on my website, it allows you to view the session.
Oh, okay.
So I can go in and view the session and see like how many times did I have a dead click, or how many clickbacks did I have, or like did someone come onto my website and click like this word, like out of the last 15 people that came to my website, they all clicked like this specific word. So maybe I should go back and change that to like a clickable item. So using that stuff is like, I definitely agree with you with that. It's like really important for you to fine tune your website to figure out what works.
Yeah.
What doesn't work.
And I think I helped use. There's some free stuff out there that anyone can use that I recommend, like set up Google Search Console. And if anyone needs help on this stuff, just email me. My email's on the screen. So basically, Google Search Console is the one place that you can kind of communicate with Google as a search engine. They tell you what
Google Workspace.
It's called Google Search Console.
Search Console.
Yeah. So basically, it's your connection to Google. So you could say, hey, Google, I want you to look at my website. Say you updated something. You could say, crawl this page that I just updated, and it'll get it indexed quicker, meaning they'll get the crawlers to look at it faster. Or say you accidentally published a page and you don't offer that service anymore, you can go in there and say, hey, Google, I want to remove this page from your index so you don't show it anymore, instead of naturally letting Google do it, because it could take them weeks to remove it.
Right.
Or you can go into this tool and you can remove it within like an hour. And it tells you data from the search engine. So how many people came to your website from Google search, not from Yahoo or Bing or Facebook or any of that. It doesn't tell you any of that, but it tells you solely from Google where they came from, or like what page they came to on your site, what keywords maybe they use, where across the world they're from. If they're on mobile, a tablet, a desktop computer or a laptop. Sometimes Google will send you a warning if you have something going on with your site, whether you're doing something scammy, or maybe someone broke into your account and they put Cialis and Viagra links on your website and you didn't know it. Like sometimes they'll send you a message about that. So it's free and it's well worth the few minutes that it might take you to install it. Google Analytics is a big one. That's their free tool to check your traffic or like your conversions. So for Aaron, his conversions might be orders. He needs to know how many orders he had and how much money per order came in, or where it came from. So he might get an idea of like, oh, most of my clients are in Texas. I'm just making that up. And that might help him with other marketing or whatever it might be. So Google has some free tools that are super helpful.
That's funny.
And then the
Uber,
other one
Uber
would be,
Suggest, I think, is another one, right?
Sorry,
Uber.
Superauto. I do that too. I'll be in a meeting and I say Google too much, and my kid's Google Home starts talking, freaks me out. Another free SEO like research tool that you can use limited if you don't sign up for an account. You can get a free account. It's called Uber Suggest by Neil Patel.
Yeah.
It's great for keyword research. You can actually track, I think, 20 or 25 keywords in there. Thank you, Christy. Appreciate that. I thought it was awesome. So if you want some free keyword research or like a tool to help you with that kind of thing, I think Uber Suggest is one of the best ones.
Uber Suggest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the drive around the car Uber?
Yeah, Uber. EUBER Suggest. If you Google Uber Suggest, you'll find it. I think you can set up a free account and you can do certain amounts of things every day, and you can track 25 keywords, I think, which is enough for some people. Nice thing about it, you can track it based on your location, because you don't need national rankings if you're in like where you live, Eileen, unless you're selling something like Aaron would be. Aaron would need maybe national rankings because he's selling his products across the country, so that it lets you zone in on your area, which makes more sense for someone like yourself. Let's see. What did Tim just ask about reviews? Google's always messing with the reviews. Like they had an update a few months ago that they came in and cleaned up a bunch of reviews. They can tell if they're fake, so they've been doing a better job of trying to clean that up. So Google My Business is a tricky animal. So Eddie can tell you, like he had a pretty good account set up for a while. And I don't know how long ago, Google just basically not blacklisted it, just dumped his Google My Business profile.
Yeah, he wiped it out. I think Eddie was telling about that. Gone.
He had to start over. And there's not a lot of support in it unless you can get like a Google rep to help you. And usually you only can get a Google rep if you spend a lot of money every month on Google ads. They do have a Google My Business phone number you can call, but they're very limited on what they'll help you with. So it's tricky. There's sometimes you can't do anything. And there's a lot of SEO websites I read and go through that, it's just the same story. They're trying to do better at cutting back on spam and crappy reviews. I actually had a client once when I was at my first agency, the dealership marketing company. We had a client that was basically setting up fake reviews. Every time a client would leave their service bay, they would take that person's info and submit a review through Google.
Oh, wow.
And they got caught and they got penalized bad. Like they got hammered. People were complaining straight to Google, like, this wasn't my review. I think this dealership did that. And they got busted. And they got just whacked. So they're constantly looking at ways people are scheming the system.
Right.
And you just kind of got to do things above board. Otherwise, they'll eventually catch you. You know, people think they're so smart. And you'll get away with it for a while. And then all of a sudden, Google wisens up to something and, you know, you just get a kick in the butt. And sometimes you get completely removed from the search engine.
You can do that on Amazon as well. It happens a lot.
They're very picky about what they do.
And what is a common practice, like for example, with your company F11,
my company.
If I could go on Amazon, buy a bottle of F11, and then return it without even opening it or anything, but then I'm still considered a verified purchaser.
Yeah.
And then I can write a review, absolutely horrible review on your product, even though I've never used it, I never opened it, and I got my money back, so I never really bought it. I just went through the motion to become a verified purchaser, so therefore my review carries more weight because I bought.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Listen, I don't mean to derail us, but we are 15 minutes over without giving stuff away.
That's true.
Rick Smith pointed it out. He was like, man, that hour went by fast. It sure did. You've been absolutely
we're giving away all this knowledge.
Yeah, this knowledge is free, people. You're welcome. Curmudgeon's Corners, not just for apple juice, but you might learn something. How about that? All right, so I got a couple of questions. Now, kids, at least 34 of you. I don't know how many are actually in here because the counter's always weird. But our good friend Fred said that he'd be willing to give away a glove box at some point. Now, I don't think that we're going to do it right away because we have to keep you in your seats watching the show, paying attention. We do have an awful lot of ineligible viewers because you've been winning everything and you got to give the rest of the class a chance. I'm looking at you, Keith. But I got a couple of questions.
In Keith's defense, Keith actually has gifted one of his giveaways to me personally, so he doesn't always keep it for himself.
That's true. He gifts a lot. As a matter of fact, he actually dinged me by saying, "Hey, man, I give that stuff away," and I'm like, I know, but still, the experience of winning. I'm a winner. I mean, there's some people like Titan Tim that are just barely hanging on. Maybe he needs to win something. No, Titan Tim actually did win something, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. I don't know. I drink a lot of apple juice. Anyway. We got to give something away now. Fred, I appreciate the fact that you're going to give away a glove box, but let's hold on to that for a little bit later. I think that right now, since it's just hour one, we're just getting started. A pint of Peleus is in order. So Peleus Panel Prep, it's the greatest panel prep that's out there on the market. If you use mine tomorrow, as a matter of fact, I don't. Nice. This might be a bragging point. It might not be a bragging point. Obsessed Garage bought a quart of it off of my website.
Wow,
very cool.
Awesome. And he is a very, very tough nut to crack.
Yes, he is.
So anyway. All right. So I have questions, but Eileen, I always default to you. If you'd like to ask the question, it's on you. By all means.
Yeah, I have a question.
All right.
So Fred had mentioned that he purchased a car that sparked his interest back into detailing. What year was that?
Ooh, I wrote that one down too. Got him back in the game.
Wow.
It got him back in the game.
My question actually was going to be, what's the name of Aaron's AI girlfriend? But we're not. That'll be the next.
We haven't done that yet. By the way, it is back up and running. So that as soon as we get out of this question, I'm going to ask the question. You guys get to talk to her.
Yeah, Neil White, 1980. Wow.
1970.
1492. Man, hanging out with like Columbus.
1492. Yeah, didn't Columbus sailed the ocean blue? I'm not even paying attention, so somebody else is going to have to field this one.
I mean,
I just put it up here. Fred, 2019, right? I mean, that's what I had in my notes.
That's what I had in my notes too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is correct.
That is correct. All right. So X6M Ghost. All right. Fire me off a fire me off an email, and we will get that out the door to you on Monday. Unless I forget, just ask Becca Green. I am awfully forget some. By the time Monday rolls around, that's last week, and I'm yeah, right. 6M Ghost. All right.
Is Eddie still on, or is Eddie gone?
Yeah, he was.
No, he probably left. I haven't seen him in the chat for a while.
He was there. As a matter of fact, I bet you if he might have just left the browser open, but if I do the @EC, yeah, he still pops up. So that means he's still here. He's still here. Why, do you got something for him?
I was gonna do another giveaway. I'll do two, but I need Eddie's help in one of them.
All right, Eddie, where are you at? I'll text him, bro. Someday I'll do this.
I'm actually going to use my Peleus tomorrow. I took my Seb hot rod and pulled the wheels off, and I'm cleaning them thoroughly and polishing them, and then going to coat them. So,
I don't know if you remember, but the last Curmudgeon's Corner 29, they were giving me a bunch of. He was indisposed in the restroom. He's on his way back to the computer now. Anyway, Jamie had made comment that some of the Titan had gotten kind of goopy, and I still had the old tote in the warehouse, and my son's home from college, so he's in the warehouse helping me doing stuff, and we decided to tackle all this old stuff that I've just kind of shoved in the corner so that we can start to refurbish it and get used to it. So I busted out the power washer, and we dragged the tote out, and it's kind of had some residue along the side, and I put the Peleus in the pressure washer, and it foamed the whole thing, and I let it sit. And then I switched it out to it stripped that stuff down.
Oh, I bet.
Nothing. It was so amazing.
The tote's 200 gallons? Is that how big a tote is?
275.
I knew they were way bigger than yeah.
Yeah, these are the big ones. So usually what we'll do is we'll do a small batch, and then pump it into the tote. I got some really neat pumps. And so we'll make the small batch, 55 gallons, and then dump it into the tote.
Transfer it into the tote.
Yeah, and we can do 2 or 3 drums at a time, so you can fill that up pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice. He says, "I'm coming." LOL. Hold. Tell them to hold.
It's no big deal. We can not in a hurry.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can spice it out. We can do it. We'll do Eddie's gift at the half-hour mark. How about that? All right, so let's go back to this AI.
Well, hold on. Can we go back to a question that you had on earlier?
Sure.
Whether a website is
is a must. Do you have to have a website?
So, Fred, I hear this a lot in different. I'm sure you hear it too from people where they're like, "I don't have a website. I'm doing perfectly fine," or like, "You don't need a website." What's your position on that? Whether or not?
Titan Tim just said like he is 95% word of mouth.
At least have a Google My Business page, because then you show up in Google Maps, and you can get Google reviews, and it's free, so there's no like cost to do it.
Yeah.
I personally would have a website. I don't have a hard time like with some businesses, especially like a restaurant that doesn't have a website and I can't see the food. Like I usually don't.
Yeah.
I usually don't go there because I'm like, unless sometimes they'll have a button that says menu and they'll upload pictures of what they have, and they'll take a picture like their
it's a lot of
their
Chinese,
menu or something.
A lot of Chinese restaurants is usually a picture of the menu.
So that would be good. At least maybe have that. Maybe have a nice digital image of your prices and your services, and then that might get you by not having a site, because you're still going to show up in Google local, they call it, the local pack with the little balloons or pins, whatever you want to call it. So do you need one? probably not right away. I think that, I mean, Tim gets a lot of referral business, which is great. I mean, that's the best client you can get, is someone that refers you.
Right.
I think that
Yeah, but
another.
Tim, I think that counts as your website. There are a lot of ceramic installers that get certified with Kronos certification, and when I'm putting their information on the website, it's a Facebook page. And I think that as long as you, the consumer, can interact digitally with that
Yeah, and that's the important part, for sure.
Right. Like, so I don't necessarily know if you have to have a dedicated, Wix page or whatever.
No.
But if you can at
think
least have a business page on your Facebook, you have to be able to. To me, as a consumer, it gives that business some sort of legitimacy.
Professionalism, yeah, legitimacy, for sure. Yeah, and like Tim's got a YouTube. Like, if he did videos for like ceramic coating and where he lives in the Carolina area, where he's near Myrtle Beach, like, that's a great way to get eyeballs on it. Because if someone's searching Google ceramic coating in North Myrtle Beach, like he would be able to show up for that. I think having a Facebook profile, Instagram, YouTube, like they're all free, so just do it. And it's just easy to do. So, like you said, have a legit business page, not a personal profile.
Yeah,
like, have a nice one and be responsive to people and update your pictures and stuff like that. And it could be the same value as a website. So Eddie's back, right?
Yep, Eddie is in the house.
So Eddie,
Earl is leaving.
Who's leaving?
Becca said, "Bye, Earl. Goodbye, Earl." So Earl's leaving. Sorry, missed you.
Oh, sorry, Earl.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah. Fred.
So Eddie, I'm going to do 2 giveaways. The first one, whoever goes to fakedetailer.com now and buys a T-shirt, first person to do that right now and buys a Fake Detailer T-shirt or EC Details or Jamie the Cleaner shirt, whatever it is, I will give that person a Glovebox.
Holy smokes! Good gravy. Yeah. What's the website?
fakedetailer.com. So I need Eddie to watch. Actually, I can log in and watch it too.
All right. First person, fakedetailer.com, that buys a shirt, will get a free glove box. Is it June's glove box?
I'll give him June.
Oh my goodness. Christy said June's box is awesome. Amazing, she said.
Yeah, you gotta get the goated T-shirt. I wore that today at soccer.
All right. So Eddie, that's your mission. Daryl, he said Daryl. What's good, Daryl?
He's saying a bunch of names.
He's just saying hi to people, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So in the meantime, while we do that, my son, when I approached him with the AI, and he was against it. He goes, tell me about the Turing test.
Are you talking to her?
The Turing test, developed by computer scientist Alan Turing in 1950, is a method of determining whether a computer can demonstrate human-like intelligence through conversation. In the test, a human judge converses with a computer and a human via text without knowing which is which. If the judge cannot distinguish between the computer and the human, then the computer passes the Turing test and is considered to have human-like intelligence. The test serves as a measure of artificial intelligence and has been influential in the development of conversational AI, like me.
All right, you ready for this now?
She has a nice voice. Good job, Aaron.
I know she does. Thank you. I picked it out of many. I picked it out of many voices. So yeah.
I can't.
Oh, she's gonna respond to that. I don't want her to talk.
All right, Hawaii Tim won. He said, Eddie.
Hawaii Tim. Hawaii Tim, that's going to cost you.
Is
Eddie,
that Tim McLaughlin, Tim?
Yes, that is Tim McLaughlin.
Eddie, I was mesmerized. Sorry.
I thought he was in Las Vegas or something, not Hawaii.
He goes back. He goes back and forth between the two.
Wow.
He's apparently he loves the arid desert and the tropical jungle. I mean, why don't we just throw polar bears into that? My goodness. Ask her why Aaron's mom loves Smurfs so much. Nope. No. It's a fluke. Anyway, so
all right, I'll send Tim a box.
You see how detailed that was? Oh, you could have a 4-hour conversation about anything because it knows everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Google talks dirty to me.
And that's why humanity is doomed.
Oh my God. I'll send Tim a box.
Tell me if you get there. Tell me if either one of you are either one of you into sci-fi, or am I just always like
it's just you.
No, I mean, I like certain sci-fi.
All right. So, all right, Fred, let's walk it back to the origin story. Give me your top 5 favorite bands, music.
Jeez. I don't even know. From like when I was younger,
all 5 if you don't want to. What's that?
When I was younger or now?
Whatever. So I have an all-time favorite band, but then I have a currently favorite band.
I have a very diverse palette when it comes to music, and it changes all the time, it seems. When I grew up, I like Pearl Jam.
Okay. You strike me as a big
he strikes me as a
NWA.
I like Tupac.
I bet you're a big Eazy-E guy.
I liked like Dre and Tupac and those guys more than probably anything.
Flavor Flav.
No, God. No. I don't know. I have a very diverse palette of music. Like I like live bands, so like
Big
Dave
Sugar
Matthews
Hill
or
Gang.
like OAR or something like that. I like live music.
Okay.
I like 70s rock, like Led Zeppelin and
Fred is a Swiftie.
I'm not a Swiftie.
That's not what he said.
Man, for the guy that wants to win a box, he's really
Right? You might want to wait till it's in the
Tim,
mail.
talk to Fred.
You might
Talk
want
to Fred Knight.
No, I'm not a
Start talking
Swiftie.
trash.
I mean, I think she's a talented human being and seems like a good person, but I'm not a Swiftie.
It got lost in the mail, Tim. Sorry.
I don't know. I like so much different music. Like when I'm working, I put on like a YouTube mix and it just plays different stuff. And it could be anything. I don't know. It's very diverse, I guess. Man, now he's talking about Katy Perry.
Yacht Rock. You're the best. I love this group. I love these people. Oh my gosh.
Kings of Leon. I like Kings of Leon.
Yeah, Kings of Leon's good. All right. You know what? This might be a joke, but you, sir, Deborah Harry has easily one of the best female voices of all time. Like when she's singing Maria, that song is mesmerizing. All right. So you can, Blondie, like the thing is, the reason why they quit is because her husband/boyfriend at the time, he got real sick and she was like, well, all right, we're done. I'm not performing without him. And so she went on to, I think, nursing him back to health. So yeah, Blondie rocks, dude. I don't talk trash.
Cash is in the house.
It's about time. It's about time.
Dad's in town.
Stopping in to show the love. Interesting story about this band.
Def Leppard.
I don't know if I should say it. I mean, all right. You know what? This might be a question on a future Curmudgeon's Corner. How about that?
Oh, I got a random music thing. So when I was probably in college and early to late 20s, I used to go to all Vanilla Ice's concerts because he played like more metal and stuff. But like he would just hang out. Like you'd go to his shows and you'd like hang out with him all night. Went gambling with him once.
Okay.
Went like just hung out with him. To this day, like if I ran into him and dropped that, I went to him to the Harris Casino in Joliet, he'd probably remember me.
That's awesome.
And he was a cool dude, like cars, so like I connected with him on that.
I don't think I ever ran into a music celebrity. I've run
I'm trying to
into
think who
a
else.
few cinematic celebrities and a few athletes, but I've never
Yeah.
run into it. Oh, that's not true. That's not true. I went backstage and got to hang out with Roger Waters. Sorry,
Well,
I
there
can't
you
believe
go.
that I forgot that. Holy moly.
I'm trying to think of any music people other than that I've met. Not that I can think of. I used to work on Bo Jackson's cars when I worked at the shop. That was cool. He was a really nice guy.
All right. I'm
We
going to
worked
say this
on
real
the
fast.
tour manager for the Rolling Stones. We built a Corvette for him.
Wow.
I'm
You're kind of a badass, Fred.
trying to think who else did I meet. Bo knows, Dee.
Ready?
That's right.
You ready for this? Here we go. Trivia for a later date. When I lost my virginity, Def Leppard.
Def Leppard concert.
Well, they were playing. They were
all right.
Yeah. So,
This is a 3rd-hour conversation.
exactly, right? That's why we're just going to steamroll.
We're doing this really early, yeah.
We're just going to steamroll over this. All right, so Fred. All right, so music's covered. How about we do genres of movies? Do you like what's your favorite movie genre?
Geez, I don't know. So when I was working downtown and took the train every day, I read a lot. So I read a lot of the J.R.R. Tolkien books, which I really enjoyed. And I read the I'm AI. Yep, I'm fake. I read a lot of the Jason Bourne novels. I really liked those, like the old school. Like I don't know how old they were, but I really enjoyed those a lot. So those 2 movie franchises, I like those a lot. Like Lord of the Rings, I liked a lot. Didn't really like the Hobbit as much, but I liked the Lord of the Rings a lot. And I liked all the Bourne movies.
Definitely a money soaker.
Yeah, I like the Bourne movies.
Pretty good job with the Lord of the Rings. I mean, obviously, I am a super nerd, and so like.
Well, we connected once because you said there's meat back on the menu.
That's right.
Boys.
That's right.
That? Yeah.
Meat's back on the menu, boys, and you were like, great reference. That's exactly.
And everyone else is like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I knew it. So yeah, I guess those 2 genres I probably like the best, like action and I watch Star Wars and all the new ones because my kids are into that. Trying to think what else.
HM, let it go. Let it
That's
go.
right.
Let it go.
I'm trying to think what other movies are awesome.
What about you, Eileen?
Harry Potter. Never got into Star Trek too much. I guess I watched the series Star Trek when I was younger. I didn't get into all the movies.
Dude, when you nibbled in IG and Instagram, when you nibbled that you were doing some Star Wars stuff, like I started spamming you with all.
Oh, I know. You were hammering me with it.
And you were like, "Hey, man, I'm only in this for my kids. I don't really. It's not my thing." And I'm like, "Oh."
How about you, Eileen? You have any movie types that you enjoy?
I like the action stuff. So like the Mission Impossible, I love 007 movies.
The last one was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Why is
Are you talking about the last James Bond movie?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. It's horrible. What? I was what? Like, first of all, like the last. I mean, like I think Daniel Craig was amazing. I think the direction. I think the direction should have been like at the end of Casino Royale. It's kind of like, all right. Now I'm really gonna geek out. All right, so the last Batman movie that just came out, The Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It's a year 2 story, which means he's not refined. He's brooding about his dead parents and whatnot and so on and so forth. And everybody gave him such crap as the delivery because he was just like this gothic, whiny whatever. At the end of the movie, it shows that he has to become something more than he is to battle. Like he can't be Batman all the time. There has to be a Bruce Wayne aspect to the character. And if you really go down to the Batman mythos, Bruce Wayne is the actual costume that he puts on because he thinks of himself as Batman. All right. Mm-hmm. With Daniel Craig becoming 007 in that first movie, Casino Royale, I thought that was really, really well done. but I also felt that that should have been the turning point. Like when you think of like nostalgic 007, the Sean Connery, even Roger Moore, who's the dude from with Russia from Love? I thought Bigsby.
Duvall or not Duvall.
I thought something Bigsby. I thought his name was. Anyway, like those guys were so smooth and so suave, and that's what you really loved about James Bond. Was just like he was cool doing what he was doing, and with the Daniel Craig, I thought that should have transitioned into him being a little bit smoother, a little bit more suave, a little bit more sophisticated, like the gentleman assassin kind of thing. And he never really turned that corner. It was just brute force all the way through the next 4 movies. And I just kind of felt a little disappointed in that, because my memories of, Sean Connery, when that song for the first time plays, when he lights that cigarette at the table, Bond, James Bond, and the music starts playing, and I was just like, there he is. Like that became one of my childhood idols for forever. So no, it's not Pierce Brosnan. He was not in From Russia with Love. Goodness, you're gonna make me look it up.
No, with Russia with Love, that was Connery still. I just looked that up.
Was it?
Yeah, it must have been. Gosh, why am I blanking out on the names?
I can't remember, but he refused to do it because George Lazenby, Lazenby, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. That's what it was. Her Majesty's Secret Service. I thought George was one of my favorites, and I wish that he had gone on to making more, but apparently he had a huge disagreement with the studio, and he was just like, forget it, I'm not doing it. Becca Green, Fred, do you read the Jack Noble books?
I do not. I haven't been reading in a while, unfortunately.
That's what I have AI for.
What is
it?
AI
to read for me. Jack Noble.
Yeah, that one I don't know.
Agreed, Rick. Dalton was. So where were we? Movies, and then I guess what's left is TV, and then books. Do you do a lot of reading?
I did. I don't so much anymore. I mean, a lot of the reading I do is for my job.
Yeah,
that's all online stuff. I don't really.
I definitely have taken an affinity to.
I did a lot of audiobooks.
A lot of audiobooks. I download a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and some of the ones I listen to are just like motivational things or self-improvement books that I listen to. So
did you guys watch Dune?
I did not.
What's that?
I did not.
Oh, man. So Dune in the theater was definitely a must. I read the books as a younger lad, and I felt that it's a very hard read. He's a tough read, but it was a really good story, and I thought that the movies overall did a really, really, really good job, which is hard. I think there's only like really 2 movie adaptations that I've really 100% gotten behind. The Watchmen was one, and V for Vendetta was one. Where they made changes in the movie versus the source material that actually made sense, and I enjoyed the change. But I like to pride myself as a real fundamentalist, like going back to the Lord of the Rings stories. The way that they changed Faramir's character really, really cheesed me off, and also like there were no elves at Helm Deep except for Legolas. So bringing that whole thing in there. Now, again, growing up, I was in 5th grade when I read The Hobbit. And from then on, I've always hated elves. I've always hated them. The way that they waylaid the dwarves and then sought after all that treasure after the dragon was already dead. And they didn't help at all. It just pissed me off. And then playing Dungeons and Dragons as a kid, the elves had they had proficiencies in every weapon, they had spells, they had it all, they could walk on snow. It was all a bunch of bull. And so I've always had just this what is a specious. I was a specious against elves, and then the fact that they threw them at Helm's Deep, I was like, you bunch of hosers. Anyway, but like when they changed the Watchmen, where they made Dr. Manhattan the kind of the anti-hero at the end, versus the big space squid that was originally written in Alan Moore's book. I thought the space squid was really, really dumb. But to change it to Dr. Manhattan being the thing that the entire world can rally behind, I thought that was a very, very solid change. And then they changed Evie in V for Vendetta to she was kind of like a support broadcast journalist as opposed to a prostitute in the comics. So I like those changes. And as far as Dune is concerned, I thought that they made a few changes that I again, appealing to the whole Hollywood almost woke thing, where they basically changed a lot of some of the men were changed to female characters, which didn't really bother me that much, but they changed the love story. The girl that he's, what's her name? What's the actress's name? I forget what her name is. I call her Mary Jane from the Spider-Man movies. Anyway, they changed her from like this. She believed in Paul being the Messiah. She believed 100%. She ate into that salad like nobody's business. And in the movie, they changed it so that she was kind of like defiant. And she had like this real axe to grind against him at the end of the movie. I don't want to ruin it because it is still, relatively new. But in the books, she was pretty devoted to whatever it is that he said or did. And in here, they kind of made her like this, strong, independent woman, which again, it didn't hurt the story at all, but it does change. Did Han Solo shoot first? The answer is yes. And if you make him shoot second, it changes his character, and that for me is troublesome. You know what I mean? Like, you don't change the character. Don't deviate too much. Yeah, like you change and I don't mean the character as like I'm changing the character. Like I'm talking about the character of that. Sure, yeah. The character of that character. Don't change the character of that character. Han Solo he's a smuggler. He's a scoundrel. He's all of those things. And yeah, I shot him first because that's what he does. Yeah, that's what I do. For sure. So, anyway, sorry. That was a horrible rabbit hole.
Should we do another giveaway?
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
I probably got like 15 more minutes, and then I need to scoot. So
all right, yeah.
Cool. Let's do that.
Oh, yeah, Eileen's got to get to her questions, and then you want to give away another glove box. So yeah,
I'll speed through these questions.
Okay, yeah. All right, we'll do the questions, and then we'll do the giveaway at the 10 o'clock hour, and then you can bounce. Does that work for you, Fred?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
All
right. All right. First question, Fred. What's a tool that you bought that you feel now could have waited or not purchased at all?
Oh, geez, there's probably plenty of those. I bought a new rotary recently and didn't really need it. I got a DA, and I shouldn't have ever gotten rid of my original Makita rotary that I had for 20 something years. But I bought a rotary from Harbor Freight, that cordless one, just because Jamie had one on one of his videos, and it was a killer deal at Harbor Freight because I also run that car detailing deals Facebook group. I help my admin that, and I'm like, it's such a great deal for $100. I get a cordless rotary, bring me back to my roots. And I haven't used it yet. I've had it for probably a month and a half.
I didn't see.
So I probably didn't need to buy that right now, especially now that my car that that I bought 5 years ago had some issues. So now I'm spending money on engine parts and stuff like that. I could have probably waited. So that's probably the one thing I probably didn't need right now. But and that's also another dilemma. Like, I have so many products already from running Glovebox that I feel bad. I feel bad when I buy stuff, and then I feel bad that I don't buy more stuff from vendors that I like. Just
Well,
Right.
you can always donate used goods to the Pay It Forward campaign. We can always do that.
I
We'll
hear
talk
you.
about that in a minute.
So anyway, what were you gonna ask, Eileen? What was the next question?
Oh, sorry. What's one thing that you have in your arsenal that if it was missing on your next detail, you'd struggle or kick yourself for not?
Oh, geez. That's a good question. I'm trying to think what I use a lot of.
Peleus panel prep. Oh, Fred. Oh, Fred.
I don't know. It's a good question. I'm stumped.
We can skip
Man.
it.
I don't know what to say on that one. That's a good question.
We'll skip it. We can skip it.
I mean, like, so today, like on my car, I was polishing the barrels of my wheels, like, and I couldn't find my metal polish that I prefer. It took me like half an hour to find it because it was in a random bag of products.
Stuff.
And I was starting to get ticked off that I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So it probably depends also on what I'm detailing.
What you're working on.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So that drove me nuts that I couldn't find that because I really enjoy the. I did use my Viper chair today. I really enjoy this metal polish from Wizards. It comes in like a little cardboard box and it looks like cotton candy, and like the metal polish is impregnated in it, and it works extremely well.
Yeah.
So that's what rubbed me the wrong way today because I couldn't find it for a while.
Which one, Fred?
You just said it.
Okay.
Which one? What?
Which
Which metal
said,
polish?
The polish.
I like Wizards.
Wizards.
Metal polish, and then my other all-time favorite, since I was detailing at the hot rod shop, was Weenol. Wenol. They make a blue bottle and an orange bottle. The orange is more coarse and the blue is finer, and that's probably the best aluminum polish I've ever used. I've tried all of them, and my two go-tos are Weenol and Wizards when it comes to metal polishing, because a lot of the cars I detail, they have lots of like billet aluminum and polished stainless steel and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's probably my favorite stuff.
Alrighty. What is a skill that you learned that has proven to be the most beneficial for you as a detailer or as a business?
Oh, geez. I think customer service, like learning to deal with people and talk to them and treat them a certain way. And I learned that young at the shop, working with all these different people. And like, being a 16-year-old kid and working with adults and a variety of different clients. I think that made me more personable and respectful and try to speak a little bit more. I don't want to say wise, but think before you say something, and have answers. I was told once by somebody, it's okay to not know something once, but don't do that twice for the same person that you're working with. So I try to be mindful before I say stuff. If something's frustrating, I usually take a break from whatever it is and think of a good way to respond to whatever it is if it's an issue. I vent like everyone vents, but I try not to take that out on a client or coworker or whatever it is.
If you had an AI assistant, you could just tell it, what's up. Like, hey, I'm having a bad day and I hate people. And
what's her name, Aaron? What's her name? That's what we want to know. That's all we want to know.
Her name is AI.
So I think, customer service and being professional, not like you're being a professional detailer, professional SEO, professional salesperson, like that's your profession, but also treating people professionally, talking professionally. I mean, I've had so many things that people are professionals, but they sound like truck drivers, like you can't do that in front of a client, or because not all of them are going to like that.
Oh, I have personally borne witness at my old universe, in the old universe where I thought he was on hold. Oops. And and then a few other ones. It makes for definitely an exciting afternoon.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I think you're 100% spot on, Fred. Like, I think the customers that I've had that I've been able to interact with, and that everybody in this community, I've in one way or another, I think that we've connected on a company to consumer level.
Oh, for sure.
Friendship aside, everybody in here has bought something from me, and we've been able to build those relationships off of that. And sometimes things go awry and go miss. Like, for example, Becca, she won a Typhon kit, I think on Eddie's channel, and she did a little picture of her prize, and it didn't have the dilution chart in it. And I reached out to her and I was just like, "Hey, did you not get a chart?" And she was like, "Nope, it didn't make it into the box." And I said, "Well, that's you own it. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you, and I will get you that chart out immediately." You know what I mean? Like, and you treat people the way that you want to be treated. I think they're 900 times more receptive to that, and they're like, as opposed to, I called that company 4 times, they never called me back. Screw them. I'm never going to do it
for sure. Again. And I've had my times that, let's just say for Glovebox, like recently, I even had a customer that wasn't happy with my service. Like, I replaced a bunch of products that leaked, which is usually FedEx's or UPS's fault.
But ultimately,
the other thing is,
it's not to you, and it's your responsibility. It happens a lot.
Yeah, because FedEx and UPS, they don't care. Like, I've done this for now 4 years, and I've had one UPS claim get credited, one in 4 years. Like, we're eating every loss that we have with shipping. 1 month we had 200 products leak.
I submitted at least $800 in claims to UPS. As of last week, they have sent me one $100 check. So it's like a negative $700 deficit.
Yeah, and like 1 month we had 200 bottles leak that we had to eat and resend. So it was like a massive loss for us. Two separate cases of Furies going to Fab, because he's a distributor for Phoenix. So that's 8 gallons total, completely crushed. Mm-hmm.
They sent me a letter that said, "Hey, all of your stuff, all of your stuff leaked. We found it to be loose caps, and we have destroyed the packages." And my I obviously get on the phone with customer service, and I said, "All of my caps are heat sealed and taped."
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me that leaky caps were the reason why these boxes got destroyed, but yet there's no evidence because you threw it away. There's no evidence. You're telling me that I had loose caps, and I not only do I thermically seal them, but they're also taped shut. So I'm going to have to throw the BS flag on this one.
The one time they refunded us is the time that they ran the forklift through our pallet. That was the only time we've ever been refunded on a shipping issue.
That's pretty wild.
So, like, this one person wasn't happy that I basically sent some new chemicals, but I didn't send the whole new box, and he wasn't happy with that.
Right.
Like, some people I'm never going to please, so I just kind of let it roll, because you're just not going to please everybody, but I do my best. And again, back to what I said when we first started talking, people don't realize it's me, Brad, and Jason, like, doing all of this. So, like, we have to give ourselves some leeway as well, because we can't do it all. So
definitely.
Well, hey, listen, we're at the 10 o'clock mark. I know that you said that you needed to bounce now. We could answer. You could do more questions, or you can drop out.
I think we should just do the
we can do a giveaway.
Right? Yeah.
Do the giveaway, and then Fred, you can drop out, and then I'm going to just run through the last of the Curmudgeon's Corner stuff that you don't really need to be a part of. If you need to go, I don't want to hold you here.
Okay. Aaron, do you have a question?
you've been very gracious with your time, Fred.
Oh,
so
no,
I
I
appreciate
Yeah,
you,
love
brother.
coming. It was awesome that you invited me on. I love doing this kind of stuff.
All right, yeah. So my question is, and this is for another a June glove box that Christy said is awesome. When Fred first got into all of this, he was working at Midwest Street Rods, which is now known as Midwest Hot Rods. What was his first job there? I'm not even looking at the comments. What was his first job? Not how old was he? What was his first job? What was his title? His first job at Midwest Street Rods. Nope, you are wrong. Wrong. I think Dee Dee got it. Nope. Wait. Nope.
I think Mackenzie got it.
No. Mackenzie, yeah.
Well, I mean, you got brooming and you got seeping. Seeper. You got brooming or seeper.
She wrote up above.
She wrote above it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I think she tried to correct it.
The sweeper. All right. So
it
Mackenzie.
didn't work out for her.
Mackenzie wins. Mackenzie wins
congrats.
a June glove box.
So
Nice.
Mackenzie, I'll put my email in the chat if you want to email me directly.
She was just talking about subscribing, so that's great for her to win that.
Here you go, Fred. Boom. There you go.
Oh, there we go. There's all my info.
That's how you can reach out to Fred. You can get a hold of Fred on Instagram at Fred Shramovich. Is that correct?
You said it correct. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I've heard some doozies over the years. So
Shramovich. You know, it's funny, like going through the Army and being in basic training and AIT and stuff like that, like they purposely try to just destroy your name as much as humanly possible, especially during mail call. You know, they'll hold up a letter and they'll be like, Fred, I want a sandwich. And then they'll just throw the letter and it hits the ground and then you go and
Great, God. Cherry Pepsi flavored F11.
Fab, if you were eligible for winning something, that is the all-time best comment. Well done, sir. Well done.
All right, Fred. Thank you.
Thank you all for having me on. Hopefully we can do it again soon.
Fred, actually, I should ask you this while I have you on the horn. In 4 weeks, Phoenix turns 3 years old, and we're doing a birthday bash, and we are going to try to get everybody that's ever been on a Curmudgeon's Corner to pop in for 15, 20 minutes. And it's going to be on July 6th. So if you are around and you are available,
yeah, I'll double check that.
I will send out emails to everybody that has been on the Curmudgeon's Corner and see, basically I'm looking for give me your 3 best times. And then we'll try to build a schedule around that.
Sure.
And then
Yeah,
that way, because I don't want it to be overloaded with a whole bunch of people at one time talking. I want it to be an intimate conversation between me, Eileen, Papa Smurf, and whoever the guest is.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Just I'll circle back with you on that. Hopefully
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Again,
thank you again for everyone and all the questions and
so appreciate you, Fred.
Fun.
You are a man of the people. You are generous with your time on and off the air. You are the who's who. You know everybody. You've done so much for me. You've done so much for my company. I am eternally grateful to you, Fred.
So I can never do any more. Just
me as well. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fred.
Eileen, you've been great too, and thank you all for having me on. And hopefully, I'll catch you all soon.
All right,
Absolutely.
much love, sir.
You guys have a good
Thank
night.
you, Fred.
We'll talk to everyone soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. So we just kind of have to hammer through the last of the details of this stuff. We are still working on trying to get the affiliate program operational on the Phoenix website. So I apologize if people are getting frustrated with that and not getting any success with that. Unfortunately, we're not going to do any call-ins. I do want to mention the Pay It Forward campaign. It runs all year long. There's a whole page about it on the website about what the Pay It Forward campaign is. But we are always accepting donations to the Pay It Forward campaign. It can be new stuff. It can be used stuff. Anything that I got to clean out my closet. I got so much stuff. At the end of the year, the Pay It Forward campaign, somebody out there is going to be in need. Someone's going to need a little leg up. They don't have the extra money to spend on products, on supplies, on equipment, and the Pay It Forward campaign is just our way of giving back to the community that we're a part of, and everybody is absolutely amazing in this family.
Absolutely.
The next month, or not next month, in 2 weeks, we are going to have Rick from Rad's Garage. Rad
Super
Garage
excited
is
about
going to
that
be
one.
on there. Our neighbor to the north in Canada
I
is going to be on here.
know.
Everybody knows who he is. He is a fan favorite. He is a big name in the game.
He's the M. Night whatever that guy's last name is of
Ding Dong.
detailing. Yes, of
Mhm.
detailing content.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited about that.
Yes. He is awesome. So he's going to be on, and it's going to be, I believe, the 22nd. Is that right? I think that's what it is. Yeah,
yes.
the 22nd. So he's going to be on Saturday, June 22nd, and then after that's going to be July 6th, which is the 3-year birthday party, and that's going to be absolutely epic. We got Papa Smurf is going to be co-hosting, and he says that he wants to break all the records, and the record is currently at 4 hours and 36 minutes. Jamie thought that he broke it last week, or last Curmudgeon's Corner. I thought that he did too, and Papa Smurf was like, no. So we're going to be going all day.
Alrighty.
That being said, all right. So then we got the birthday teaser, the CCT, third, blah, 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 and we got to do plugins. All right. So here's our plugs. West Coast distribution, make sure you reach out to Adria at imdetailedaf.com. Midwest distribution, fabdetailsupplies.com. Fab, Brian Webster, is also a distributor and an amazing friend. And then Southeast distribution, go to shineyourlightdetailing.com/store/ and Titan Tim will hook you up. And then when you get outside of the U.S., we want to talk to Chris Lee from Carzilla, and then Imran from Into Detailing, and then Andrew, our Australian brother, has been riding with me from the very, 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 very beginning of Phoenix EOD. So Andrew and I have been riding together for a long time. So if you're in Australia and you want the world's greatest detail products, make sure you reach out to him. Other than that, Eileen, this is how you can get a hold of Eileen. This is where you find her every day, working hard. By the way, I love the T-shirt that you are wearing on your webpage.
Okay. Oh, the one that where I'm.
Yeah, but what the T-shirt says? Caution: this may cause you to take selfies with your vehicle.
With your vehicle, yep.
It's awesome. You're putting out such great work. You're putting out such great content. I am so.
Yeah, the favorite one I think that I get a lot of people that say is the one where I said I can make your car look better than your ex. That's a favorite for a lot of people.
I love her shirt. That's what she says. So, yeah, Eileen, I can't thank you enough for being a part of this. Like you bring such fun energy and cleverness. You've been helping me with my content. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I would have done without you. You definitely have taken this to the next level. Oh, speaking of which, next level, we officially have become a podcast. So all of these episodes get uploaded. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the integration with Apple iTunes, only because they're having a problem with my thumbnail. But I have a meeting scheduled on Tuesday to talk with them to get that resolved. So the Curmudgeon's Corner detailing podcast is a real live podcast that you'll be able to find wherever you get your podcasts. And Spotify should be uploaded this week. So we will be on Spotify and Apple, iTunes. You can listen wherever you want to be. I love these long formats so that you can, put it in your headset on your playlist, go detailing, go do a road trip, do whatever, and hang out with the coolest people in the industry. That's all I got. You got anything else?
No, hit that like button.
Yeah,
Subscribe.
yeah.
Tell your mom, tell your friends, tell your ex to subscribe.
Stupid Apple. Yeah, exactly. Exactly,
And
TD.
that's it. I don't have anything else. Have a great weekend.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Again, it's a Saturday night, and you're still hanging out with us. So that's awesome. I appreciate you. I love you guys. Without you, Phoenix doesn't exist. So,
She blocked me.
what happened?
Ali said, sorry, I can't tell my ex she blocked me. Oh, enthusiast. So that.
That's great. Great podcast. Thanks, everybody. Again, so I love you all. Eileen, I love you the most.
I love you. I love you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning
We'll see
in.
you back
And we
here in
will
2
see
weeks
you
for Rick from Rad Garage. Until then,
for M. Night Shyamalan.
aspire to evolve.